Good morning from the Netherlands. Good morning from Assen with, well, very nice crowd here, very nice crowd in Assen. In the grandstands, we have a view on the straight line, start finish. The cars are now leaving the pre-grid at the end of the pit lane, doing a full lap before grid and then one warm-up lap before the start of the race. As ever in the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, a 30-minute race plus one lap. This means once the 30 minutes are over, the leader of the race has to do one more lap. This is the format of the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, part of the Porsche Motorsport pyramid, with track days, of course, with Porsche Sprint Challenge Benelux and Porsche Sprint Challenge during winter time in Southern Europe. As well, in Belgium, we have the Porsche Endurance Trophy, part of the Belcar Endurance Championship, with 24 hours of Zolder coming up in 2 weeks' time. The Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. And who can explain this better than Larry ten Voorde, the winner of yesterday's race? He told that this competition is a very nice competition, a close competition as well. He had a good fight, he told, with the number 2 in the rankings, the leader of the championship, the actual leader of the championship, Robert De Haan. And Larry ten Voorde said as well that this is the perfect place for a young talent, for a young guy from karting, a young girl from karting, to develop her or his skills in motorsport. Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. Cars are lining up now, they're coming through the last chicane. On pole, of course, Larry ten Voorde. He is former double Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup championship winner and double champion as well in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. He's one of the favorites here. He's a guest driver as well for this weekend, so no scoring points, or not scoring points. And he's standing next to maybe the big surprise of this weekend, Wouter Boerenkamp. Larry ten Voorde driving for GW Race Service or GW Race Service, and Wouter Boerenkamp in the duo colors with the black Porsche. The yellow one with the number 11 is Larry ten Voorde. The other car is, of course, Wouter Boerenkamp. He scored a 3rd place after a break of 10 years in motorsport. Yesterday, he created a big surprise here, and now he will start from 2nd position. Can he get some pressure? Can he put some pressure on Larry ten Voorde? We will see, but that's maybe unlikely, of course. The whole grid is a grid of 26 cars here in Assen, and with Larry ten Voorde on pole and Wouter Boerenkamp in 2nd position. We know the 1st row. The 2nd row is Robert De Haan, leading in the championship. He did a very, very good affair yesterday by getting home 2nd, but scoring the points of the 1st place, as Larry ten Voorde is a guest driver. He's not scoring points. He's invisible in the result for the points. And he's on the 2nd row next to Glenn van Parijs. Glenn had really a misfortune yesterday. His car was hit by a cone that came loose while it was hit by another car, and it damaged the radiator of the Porsche. So race over very early for Glenn van Parijs, not scoring any points. And this means in the point standings that Robert De Haan in the Richardson Racing Porsche is now leading by 147 points. Glenn van Parijs 104. With still 5 races to go, everything is possible. We still have almost 150 points to earn, but it's still a big gap at the same time. It's over 40 points, so Glenn van Parijs has to score this weekend, or this race anyway, today on Sunday. He has to outscore Robert De Haan in order to keep the fight of the championship for the championship open. When we go back to the starting grid, we see Rick Koen on the 3rd row, 5th position next to Benjamin Paak. Also, as like Glenn van Parijs in the August by NGT colors, the Belgian team, they both had a difficult race yesterday. Benjamin had a spin, came home 15, but that's not the position we're used to see Benjamin. On the 4th row, Flint Schuring and Arya Levy. Arya Levy in a beautiful fight yesterday with Wouter Boerenkamp for 3rd. He finished 4th yesterday, Arya Levy, and he's now 3rd in the championship. Sam de Jonge on the 5th row, Mika Stanley on the 6th row, on the 5th row as well in 10th position. 6th row, Cedric Chazang and Lucas van Eindhoven. Cedric, of course, 1st position in the M class. Dirk Schouten, Sascha Norde, 1st place in Pro-Am. He won the Pro-Am class yesterday, as did Cedric Chazang in the M class. Quentin Antonel, Hans Wijs Jr., Horst Felix Felbermeier, Etienne Prunes, Juan Vignes Dabat, Aaron Mason, Ralph Popelaars and Sébastien Lajoux, Mike Rosenberg, Roger Grauwels, James Font Casas and then Luc van der Feeste. This is the starting grid for today's race on Sunday, the 13th of August in Assen. It's the 8th race of the year because we have 2 races every weekend, every meeting. We've had meetings in Spa at the end of April. We've had a meeting in Hockenheim for the 75th birthday or anniversary of Porsche, of course. The big Porsche Fest was it there in Hockenheim. 3rd meeting was by the end of June in Zandvoort, together with DTM, the DTM series, the well-known series with the GT3 cars now. And this 4th meeting today and yesterday is held in Assen, the north of Netherlands, on the famous TT circuit of Assen, the MotoGP, Moto Grand Prix track. 5th meeting is in a couple of weeks, 2nd weekend of September in Zolder during the European Truck Grand Prix. And the last weekend, the finals are at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, together with DTM again. So a magnificent calendar as well for the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, with international series from Truck Grand Prix over DTM to FIA WEC in Spa, beginning or the end of April, not the beginning of May. That was earlier in the history, but this year was the end of April. Nice programs, good crowd in the grandstands here in Assen. 26 Porsche 911 GT3 Cup Type 992. We will follow as well the youngsters in this competition. As Larry ten Voorde told in his interview, this is a perfect competition for young drivers, and that's why Porsche created as well the talent pool, where you have these youngsters driving among each other, and they not only drive and they not only race, but they get support as well from Porsche. They get support on media-wise, physical training, mental training, and so on. In the rookie division, the standings are very clear. It's Robert de Haan leading, Dirk Schouten second, and Horst Felix Felbermeier from the famous Austrian racing family. He is in 3rd position. In the M class, Ralph Popelaars is still leading, Sascha Norden in Pro-Am, and of course overall standings led by Robert de Haan. We're a couple of seconds away from the warm-up lap. The yellow Porsche on pole. It's Larry ten Voorde. And the last of the red lights will go out in a few seconds. Watching the whole field. This magnificent race series, the fastest one-make series in the Benelux with the Porsche. And here we go for the warm-up lap. Of course, no overtaking, no race speed. We go 1 lap, warming up tires, warming up brakes, putting temperature into the 911. 1 lap over Assen. Then we come to a standstill again because it's standing start. This time it's a dry race where we got a so-called wet race, even if the track was dry or drying up yesterday, but this is a full dry race for the 26 cars here in Assen. Waving over the track. And a big lockup there from one of the drivers. Might have been maybe Rick Koen. No, Robert de Haan. It was Robert de Haan with a big lockup towards the first chicane in Assen, which is a bit bizarre during the warm-up lap, because locking up the tires means that you could damage the tire as well, which is not, of course, in favor for the rest of the race. It was Robert de Haan locking up his tire, front tire of the Porsche. Will it affect this race? I don't know. We will see. throughout the 30 minutes plus 1 lap race. Wouter Burger comes here, number 4 Porsche, the big surprise of the weekend. In between Porsche Super Cup champion and the guy leading in the Porsche Cup Benelux. Larry ten Voorde in first position, and right behind him it's Robert Den Haan with the Richardson Porsche, number 46. And we go through the last chicane, going to the start-finish line, where we will wait for the last driver, which is Luc van der Veeste. When Luc is on his spot, the red lights will go on. Then we have a countdown from 5 to 0 with the lights, and then we're on. Mason. And there is in the gray, the black, white gray car, because he had a little accident in one of the free practices, Luc van der Veeste, and he is now arriving on his spot. We will see the green flag with the man in the white shirt. Yeah, there he is. Right now, the red lights go on, green flag. And we are on for the second race of the weekend of the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. And a good start of Wouter Burger seems to be. Can he hold the interior of the first right corner? No, it's it's door to door, and it's Larry ten Voorde who keeps first position, but he had not a bad start, but not a perfect start as well, neither. He's in first position, sliding through the long right-hander into the heavy braking for the first left-hander there. With ten Voorde, here comes De Haan, both of the August by NGT cars now. And just as yesterday, our French friend Sébastien Lajoux is off, but he can, or he might recover this time. Yesterday it was a DNF. And there is the cone again. That's scary for Glenn van Parijs. And it's Benjamin Paak in front of Glenn van Parijs. So it was hitting this little orange thing. It was this time Benjamin Paak. But it was exactly that ruined the race of Glenn yesterday. It went through the radiator of the Porsche, and that was it. Race gone away, points gone away. Close racing in the opening stages of this race, of course. But Larry ten Voorde is already pulling away. Maybe one of the best 911 Carrera Cup drivers in the world. Safety car. That's not completely obvious. Is it because of our friend Sébastien Lajoux? It might be. So safety car just as yesterday after 1 lap. So we're repeating 100% the scenario of Saturday's race with the off of Sébastien Lajoux driving the Duo Racing, the Luxembourg team. He went off. And that might have been restart. It's so not the perfect start for Larry ten Voorde. Leaving the gap to Wouter, but Wouter, of course, he has no experience in this kind of situations. He wasn't racing for 10 years, so no blame. And then the whole pack, the whole field, right, left. Try to figure out. Yeah, and there he went wrong, of course. There is our French friend sliding through the field, through the gravel, back on track. Mr. Felbermeyer, of course, and this is another of the French drivers, and that's why we have a safety car. And I think it's Quentin Antonel, yes, with the Q1 track racing car, and it's Horst Felix Felbermeyer Jr., the grandson, and they went both off, so they both out DNFs for both drivers. And that's why we have a safety car. It's not because of Sébastien Lajoux, because he recovered. They're the little orange friend, not really the friend of Glenn van Parijs. So that will be removed by the end of the safety car as well. we presume. We should notice as well that by the end of yesterday's race, it was Ralph Popelaars in first position in the M class, but after the race, he got a 30-second penalty for overtaking under safety car, which is the case now, under safety car. And there we see, yes, and this is exactly what happened. It's identical to what happened to Glenn van Parijs yesterday. There's such a coincidence that it's happening now to the other car of the team, of the August by NGT team. So back to Ralph Popelaars, he overtook under safety car, got a 30-second penalty, and he dropped back to second position in the M class, Ring Shazang with Team GP Elite or Elite winning the race. And the same happened to Aaron Mason in the Refs Motorsport Porsche. He dropped from third to fourth, and Juan Viñas Dabat in the Bapora Motorsport Porsche went from fourth to third. So two drivers having a 30-second penalty yesterday, so not for this race, but yesterday. And I hope nobody is overtaking on the safety car this time. Even if it's not always that easy, because safety car comes in, you're in a maneuver, you're breaking out someone, and then you have to hold in. Both Porsche here, they will be taken away. There is a man on a motorbike as well involved in the whole situation, explaining what and why. But the 56, of course, and the 88, the light blue, and then the purple car, they're both out of the race. Both cars will not finish this race, will not continue this race, as we saw yesterday with Glenn van Parijs and Sébastien Lajoux. Horst Felix Falbermeier and Quentin Antonel are both as well part of the rookie division, young drivers. It's a shame because every race means experience, every race means a lot of distance more on your racing palmarès. And red flag. We have a red flag. This means that the race will stop and will restart in a couple of minutes, I presume. Red flag. This means that we will go back to the starting grid. Maybe it's because of the trucks or the tire wall is damaged. Maybe, we don't know. But anyway, a red flag. I don't think there's any personal harm or physical harm for both drivers, because this was not a heavy impact, it was not a heavy crash. But something, I guess, must be repaired, and then there's a red flag situation as we had in the previous race here, a single make race as well. The truck's picking up the Porsche 992. One is already standing. It's the 88 is already standing on the truck. It's the Huber racing car, and then the Q1 Trek racing car is still waiting for the truck. Quentin Antonel, 56. We go through the pit lane. And this will, I think, mean that we will see a restart behind the safety car. So the safety car is now stopping in the pit lane, and the whole field is following. And this could mean that we get a restart behind the safety car, and then the safety car will go into the pit lane and restart the race. We don't get a second standing start, as we sometimes see in Formula One, for instance. Drivers waving with the door to get some fresh air into the cockpit. People coming down from the grandstands to watch. And mechanics working on one of the Porsche cars. The track is being cleaned, the gravel, and I think that was the gravel of our French friend, or the other French friend, Sébastien Lajoux, because he went out of the gravel back on track, and then you get of course, some gravel, which makes the track slippery and difficult to drive for the other competitors. So we're cleaning in an old-fashioned way, the good way. And there still is the medical car. Medical car going around the Assen track. He might still pick up one of the drivers to go for a medical check. Cars and trucks now leaving the track of Assen. And we have still 24 minutes, 19 seconds and 1 lap to go in this second race of the weekend of the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux in Assen. The rescue car still, and there we see the restart of. We see the start again, not the restart, of course, the start with Larry ten Voorde, Wouter Boerekamps, Robert de Haan settling in third. And then the whole bunch. And we will see what's happening. First, I think we will lose here our French friends. And then we get a coming together of two cars later, a couple of meters later in the corner. Yeah, there it goes. And they hit the wall. They both hit the wall. And they're sliding on the grass. Coming to a standstill somewhat further. Both drivers were out of the car, I think. I've seen them both standing next to the cars. And there is the little orange friend again. But be careful, it could and might damage your car, might damage your radiator, as we saw yesterday for Glenn van Parijs, of course. We see the safety car is not deployed yet, and there we go back, working on the safety barriers. That's why it's a red flag. And teams are allowed to work on the cars only in the fast lane during the red flag in the race. This means that if there's a little damage due to the start, for instance, you could repair if you have the authorization to repair it during the red flag. And we have one of the marshals, I think, being picked up by the ambulance, by the medical car. Not feeling well, or maybe being hit by a stone or whatever, so we don't have any details yet, but we saw clearly that one of the marshals was walking to the... He was walking, so that's already okay. He was walking to the medical car. But it's hell of a job, and thanks to all the marshals, in fact, and all the people working here in Assen. And they make it possible that we have motorsport. I think we could not say it enough, that big thank you to you, men and women next to the racetrack, because they are there for our safety, for the safety of the drivers, for the good racing as well. And it's not really a job, it's more a passion. They go there every weekend and they make racing happening. So a big applause from everyone, I think, who is watching this race, to the marshals. And I hope that the man will be okay. And still some repairing of the safety barriers, which is important, of course. We cannot race without a full 100% safety guarantee of the racetrack. It's maybe it's too often forgotten, but motorsport is dangerous. It's on every accreditation, it's on every card you get when you're a driver, when you're a media. And safety is something we cannot mess with. It's clear. So if we have a red flag, it's not the coolest of things. It's not nice to watch images of cars standing in the pit lane but it's because it has to be like this for the safety of all the people involved, drivers, teams, safety people, marshals, but even the photographers standing behind the safety barriers. They have to be protected as well. So let's wait until the work is finished here on the circuit of Assen. The crowd, it's a bit windy today. I think that's one of the things that's happening soon in Holland. But it's better. The weather is better than yesterday during the morning hours. Yesterday we got a big rain that started at 10 o'clock, I think, and it lasted until an hour and a half before the start of the first Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux race. Now we have a complete dry track, which makes it much easier for the teams, for the drivers, maybe for the spectators. It's something that is putting some suspense in the race, but here we get a complete dry track. And the incidents between 56 and 88 and 33 and 36 will be investigated after this race. So Sébastien Lajoux was maybe hit by Ralph Popelaars in the 36 car. Ralph Popelaars, a rookie as well, but a gentleman driver, businessman, and he is leading in the M class in the championship standings. He won races in Spa twice. He won his class in Spa, not the overall race, of course. And he won both races in the M class in Zandvoort. And he was on the podium in Hockenheim. He was on the podium yesterday in Assen, where he was crossing the finish line first. But then he got a 30-second penalty, of course, and that made him drop to second position. Ralph Popelaars in the Hans Wijs Motorsport car. Hans Wijs Motorsport doing very well yesterday with this nice performance of Ralph, but also a nice performance of Hans Wijs. He was first in Pro-Am. He was leading in Pro-Am. In the last part of the race, after a nice fight with Sascha Norden, he got the points of the first place because Hans Wijs is a driver on invitation or a guest class driver. It's nice to see families as well around the racetrack. Families coming to Assen, coming to Spa, coming to Zolder, coming to Le Mans. Motorsport has a growing popularity, as we noticed, not only in Formula One, maybe thanks to Drive to Survive of Netflix, but motorsport popularity is growing everywhere in the world, with good crowds in IMSA, for instance, in the United States, in Road America, but also here in Assen with the Jacks Racing Day, which is a very popular event since years and years and years. And under other names in the past, I think it was Gamma Race Day before, but now it's the Jacks Racing Day. We still see the safety car in front of the 24 Porsche 911 GT3 Cup Type 992. A lot of young kids as well, but please protect their ears. On a day with racing cars, motorbikes, supercars, Formula One cars, even there was the Boss GP with a Formula One car earlier today, and both of the young kids there have ear protections in their hands. Yes, that's good, perfect. And it's waiting now for the race direction to restart the race. It's still red, that's obvious. And I think we see there a little glimpse of Nick de Vries, former Formula One driver, Dutch Formula One driver, in the paddock. He's here for a demo. Nick de Vries, second Dutch Formula One driver this year, but he, yes, that's Nick de Vries, of course. but his contract was interrupted by Alpha Tauri, and he was replaced 1 or 2 Grand Prix ago. Even if he did well in his first race last year in Monza. But I think we will see Nick de Vries again in motorsport. He announced that he will go studying a bit in the United States. Back to the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, still waiting for the race to restart. And as we are waiting for the race to restart, so are they, the people in the grandstands, people around the racetrack. Larry ten Voorde, Wouter Boerekamps, Robert de Haan, Benjamin Paak, Glenn van Parijs, Rick Koen, Sam de Jonge, Flint Schuring, Ariel Levy, and Mika Stanley. That's the top 10 for the moment after 1 or 2 laps. After 2 laps, it's Sascha Norder leading in Pro-Am, Hans Weiss second, Aaron Mason third. And in Am, it's Ring Chassang, Ralph Popelaars, and Roger Grauwels. Out of the race are Quentin Antonel and Horst Felix Felbermeier from Austria, France and Austria. We have another incident involving 2 cars, 93 and 17. That's Jamie Font Casas from Spain and Roger Grauwels from Holland, and that as well will be investigated after the race. No idea what happened. We think, as far as I know, we didn't get any images of that incident. The race will restart in 7 minutes at 12:20. And it will be a 20-minute race plus 1 lap. So I repeat, for those who want to go to the kitchen and have something to drink, you still have 7 minutes before the race will restart. And then it will be a remaining race time of 20 minutes plus 1 lap. Oh, nice grandstands. That's a perfect, ideal view in the Geert Timmer tribune, which means that people are still finding their ways to the racetracks all over Europe and all over the world, as we noticed earlier on this year in Daytona and Road America and so on. Motorsport is popular and motorsport is alive. As is this Porsche Carrera Cup, with still 6 minutes to go before the restart. Restart at 12:20. It's now 12:14. And the restart will be, as I said, as I predicted, behind the safety car. It's 1 out lap, so the safety car will leave the pit lane. We will get 1 lap, and then we will have a 20 minutes plus 1 lap race. A true sprint race, 20 minutes. It's very short. It will be all or nothing. 5 minutes to go now. It's 12:15. You still have the time for a coffee, to pick up a coffee in the kitchen, or grab something to eat, a little sandwich, before the restart of this Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. Race 8 of the season, 4th meeting of the year in Assen after Spa, Hockenheim, Zandvoort, and now Assen, Zolder, and the Red Bull Ring coming up later in September. With the championship still open in all divisions. Mentioning as well that there is a team championship, and we got a big changing yesterday because August by NGT was first before coming to Assen, and they're now 3rd in the standings, of course, due to the difficult race of both drivers, Benjamin Paak and Glenn van Parijs. They are now 3rd. Hubert Racing is 2nd in the standings, and Richardson Racing is 1st, but it's very close. It's Richardson Racing with 189 points, then 183 for Hubert Racing, and 178 for August by NGT. Richardson Racing, of course, they have Robert de Haan here, and he is leading the championship. And Mika Stanley putting down a fair good race as well yesterday, so scoring points as well in the team standing. 34 points yesterday for Richardson Racing, and Hubert 31, and only 5 for August by NGT, of course. And we will see the start again of this race. The first start of the race. We will get a second start of the race behind the safety car in a few minutes' time, in 3 minutes' time. And it was Wouter Boerekamp really putting down a very nice start. But of course, he's so experienced, Larry ten Voorde. And he kept first place. And then it went all wrong first for one of the French drivers, Sébastien Lajoux. He was, I think, touched by Rolf Popelaars there in the black car. Went through the gravel bed, putting some gravel on the racetrack that had to be cleaned afterwards. And then we have this second incident with Horst Felbermayr and Quentin Antonel. And they were it was an impact, and it was an impact enough to put both cars out of the race. Then we got a red flag situation, which means that we all go back to the race, or to the pit lane, while the track was being cleaned by the marshals. And we're back now in the pit lane with, I think, just over 1 minute to go. Remaining race time will be 20 minutes plus 1 lap. As soon as the safety car goes out of the pit lane, we're counting. So this means that the first lap behind the safety car is maybe 4 minutes. That's already 20 minutes minus 4 minutes. We will have a really intense battle over 16 to 17 minutes. And it's officially cleared now, safety car, so we're on our way a bit earlier. And the countdown has started from 20 minutes down to 19:43, 19:42. We go on, all the cars are leaving the pit lane. Again, it's yellow, it's safety car, no overtaking, otherwise you get punished. You get a 30-second penalty or drive-through. Putting heat again into the tires and into the brakes, because waiting for like 20 minutes in the pit lane, it's not ideal for the temperature of the car, of the brakes. Safety car is leading the bunch. And as soon as the safety car will disappear, Larry ten Voorde can decide at which speed he will end the safety car lap. No overtaking before the start-finish line, and then we have a race again. So watch the yellow car of Larry ten Voorde, yesterday's winner. Wouter Boerekamp, Robert de Haan, Benjamin Paak, Glenn van Parijs, Rick Koen, Sam de Jonge, Flynn Schuring, Ariel Levy, Mika Stanley, and so on and so on. 24 cars for the remaining of the race. We lost 2 of them in the incident we already saw a couple of times now. Safety car 1 lap, which means that you will very soon see the indication safety car in this lap. We're at the back of the racetrack now, heading back to the start-finish line. And Larry decided that we will go in a slow way now, holding up at a low speed the bunch, putting everything he can into his tires. This is the safety car coming into the pit lane. Larry ten Voorde now takes over the role of the safety car. No overtaking. We go to the last chicane, the chicane in front of the grandstand, the Geert Timmer tribune. And when will Larry go? Now, he is on the throttle now. What a perfect restart of Larry ten Voorde. Excellent work. And it's now, he has a 1-2 car gap. Boerekamp second. Robert de Haan in third. Benjamin Paak in fourth. Glenn van Parijs. And there's already an action. And I think Robert de Haan is passing Wouter Boerekamp. No, he's holding the inside. Perfect job of Wouter Boerekamp there. Can he hold on? And he's bringing Robert De Haan to the outside of the racetrack, which means that Benjamin Paak is now putting pressure on Robert De Haan. And again, De Haan is trying to go by Boerekamp. Boerekamp very spectacular into the chicane. 2 wheels off the ground. And Benjamin Paak trying to get past Robert De Haan. Good racing here. With some, I think, 15 to 16 minutes to go. Meanwhile, Larry is walking away. If you have people fighting behind you, that's a perfect way to create a gap. And there's Sam de Jongen again, he's fighting. He has to do it every race. He's yellow flag at turn 6. Let's hope we can continue racing. Not sure what happened there. There we have the top 3, yellow flag in turn 6. Turn 6, yellow flag is gone away now. Yeah, it is. Oh, that was track limits. That was track limits as well. And there's Larry ten Voorde. 2 seconds gap on Wouter Boerekamp's Robert De Haan, Benjamin Paak, Glenn van Parijs, Sam de Jonge, Rick Koen, Flint Skuring, Arya Levy and Mika Stanley. In Pro-Am, Sacha Node, and in Am, Cedric Chassan. And that's very wide. Sam de Jonge is losing some places there. That might drop him outside the top 10. He is now under pressure from Lucas van Eindhoven in 11th position. But he's holding on Lucas again, and he's touching Sam de Jonge on the back wheel. Perfect racing, sliding through the corners there. Good one-make series racing. And that's Mika Stanley off the road slightly. Best lap, meanwhile, 1:38.9 of Larry ten Voorde. And Van Eindhoven is, he's in front now of Sam de Jonge. This means Lucas van Eindhoven in 10th. And Sam de Jonge is trying again. Oh, good battle there, good battle. A little touch again. Keep it fair, boys. And there, Lucas van Eindhoven is going wide. Sam de Jonge again in front of him. Van Eindhoven under pressure. And we're waiting for the cars to pass the start-finish line again. With best sector times on this lap again for Larry ten Voorde. And he does a 1:38.4 now. Wouter Boerekamp is in 2nd, Robert De Haan 3rd, Benjamin Paak, Glenn van Parijs. And it's now Skuring in 6th, Levy in 7th, Koen in 8th, Stanley 9th, and Sam de Jonge in 10th position. There, a good fight of Dirk Schouten. He's trying to go by Lucas van Eindhoven. Whoa, and that's a heavy, that's into the gravel bed for both cars. I hope they can continue. But, well, that was a coming together. That's an incident, and I guess this incident will be investigated after the race. Really on 2 wheels flying there. The number 57, Dirk Schouten in the Q1 track racing car, the yellow one. Yeah, and I think Dirk's race is over. Car is damaged, suspension damage or a flat tire or both. That was some really tough racing. Cars 5 and 9 as well noted, 5 and 9, Koen and Stanley. Car 777, Sam de Jonge noted, so there will be a lot of work for the marshals and the race director safety car again. This is not the ideal situation because Lucas van Eindhoven, victim as well of the incident with Dirk Schouten, 57, and then our friend in the green Porsche, Lucas van Eindhoven, 14. And he might try to remove his car as quick as possible, sorry. But this will mean that we'll get a new restart. And again, Larry ten Voorde will lead the bunch into this 2nd restart or 3rd start of the race, as you wish. Dirk Schouten, meanwhile, is in the pit lane, but I think his race is over as well. Lucas van Eindhoven is standing somewhere next to the racetrack. Yeah, that's the yellow Porsche of Dirk Schouten with the Q1 track racing crew. They're based in the north of Belgium, in Limburg, in Mazeik. They have a new workshop since this year. A beautiful little medieval town. And there is the battle again. Sascha Norden involved as well. But it's, watch the green and the yellow car. The green car comes back on the track. And there's no room, there's no space. And that's then a coming together, damaging both cars out of the race. And Dirk Schouten is, yeah, he's trying to restart. He is on his way again. So watch out when crossing the pit lane, please. Will he be able to continue the race? Anyway, he is down the order, of course. Oh, there, an orange friend again. Taken away by one of the marshals. Thank you for the safety work. Safety car in this lap. Lucas van Eindhoven watching the race with his helmet on. Several incidents noted and investigated after this race, but let's concentrate on the restart. Here is the safety car in again. And let's see where Larry ten Voorde will restart now. Last time it was at the entering of the last chicane. That's where we are now. He is waiting now, he's waiting, and it's the same, exactly the same spot, but the others are a little bit less surprised. The gap is closer now. Green flags waving, that means that we are racing again. Rick Koen and Stanley, if I'm correct. That's Rick Koen, the number 9 car, the young Dutch talent as well. And we have 23 cars left now with Dirk Schouten in last position, of course. Oh, Levy and Skuring. Levy 87, Skuring 16. Close racing again. Sam de Jongen as well, battling to get up higher in the order. And there is a big lockup from Ariel Levy. And he's losing 1-2 positions, maybe 1-2 Flint Skuring, and maybe 1-2 Rick Koen. No, Rick Koen is behind him. Big lockup again. Mika Stanley behind Rick Koen now. Sam de Jonge. Sascha Norden leading the Pro-Am class in the orange and blue car. Getting into the chicane again, start finish. And it's of course Larry ten Voorde leading the race. Robert de Haan is now second. We missed this action of Robert de Haan. Wouter Boerkamps is back in third position. Glenn van Parijs is in front of Benjamin Paak now. We missed some action at front of the race while we were watching this, guys. With Sam de Jongen again, Flint Skuring, Mika Stanley, Sascha Norden there. Hopefully we can get the overtaking at front of the race again. Double yellow at turn 1 now. Still double yellow flag at turn 1. No idea why. Maybe here because of the safety marshal, the marshal on track. Indeed, it was a double yellow because somebody was taking away something from the track. The 93 car. And number 8 Mason, so it's James Font and Mason, 4th and 5th in Pro-Am. And Wouter Boerekamps lost his 3rd place to Glenn van Parijs. He's under pressure now. He's under pressure from Benjamin Paak, who is under pressure as well from Flint Schuring, Arya Levy, and so on and so on. So Wouter Boerekamps, despite his 2nd position on the starting grid on the front row, is having it a little bit more difficult in this race. He started in 2nd position, putting some pressure at the start on Larry ten Voorde, then kept 2nd but dropped to 3rd and then to 4th, with Robert de Haan now in 2nd and Glenn van Parijs in 3rd position. Belgian colored August by NGT cars with the black, yellow, red decoration. What can Glenn van Parijs do? Can he come closer to Robert de Haan? Because in order to keep his championship dreams alive, it should be better to finish ahead of Robert de Haan in this race and not behind Robert. Especially because the 2nd position here will give the points of the victory, because Larry ten Voorde's guest driver is invisible in the result, for the points at least. There we cross the line again, with Benjamin Paak having some trouble. He lost 4th place to Glenn van Parijs, then to Flint Schuring, then to Arya Levy, losing places. He's now 7th. And he obviously has some difficulties with his Porsche. And the pressure now from Rick Koen. Glenn van Parijs. Wouter Boerekamps. Glenn van Parijs is now on 5.2 seconds. 5.2 seconds behind Larry ten Voorde, and 3.2 seconds behind Robert de Haan. Rick Koen. There a big lockup again from one of the drivers. And that's Flint Schuring passing by Benjamin Paak, by Benjamin losing slightly the control of his Porsche, exiting the chicane. Race of Flint Schuring again. One of these Dutch youngsters in the Porsche Carrera Benelux. Thanks to the talent pool as well. Double yellow at turn 11 now. And that's because we have one of the drivers, it's the number 75 cars, Etienne Ploeners, but Etienne is on his way again. So bye-bye yellow flag. That's why we got a yellow flag, because Etienne spinned, came to a halt on the grass, and he is racing again. Larry ten Voorde, new lap record in 38.4. Robert de Haan, 2nd now, 2.7 seconds. Glenn van Parijs, 7.2 seconds. He lost some time, lost 2 seconds in the last lap, almost to Robert de Haan. Flint Schuring is going well. He's putting down a 39.6 while in front of him, Glenn van Parijs is putting down a 43, and then Wouter Burgham's a 40.1, means half a second faster, but this is a lot in single make series. Identical cars, of course. Identical Porsche 911 GT3 Cup Type 992. Last generation of the car, the race car, the popular and very successful race car of Porsche. Warning for car number 4, disrespecting track limits. This is Wouter Burgham's. And there Wouter Burgham's putting some pressure on Glenn van Parijs. Which means that they will lose some time because they're in a fight, they're in a battle. They're battling for third position. And what will Wouter do now? Yeah, he's not really trying. He's keeping the cool. He's right behind Glenn van Parijs, vice champion of last year, and he's now second in the standings. So it's a well-experienced and a fast driver, Glenn van Parijs. And with only his first race weekend in 10 years' time, I think Wouter is a bit thinking and rethinking and reflecting on how to handle with this situation. Meanwhile, at front, Larry is going his own way. Now 3.2 seconds ahead of Robert De Haan. And we have more incidents under investigation now. And we're in the final lap of the race. 20 minutes go very, very, very fast if you're watching a nice and cool Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux race. And this is, I predict, the winner of this second race, the second victory of his weekend as a guest driver in the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. Larry ten Voorde entering the chicane, flying through the chicane here, bumping through the chicane and winning his... Oh, this is the last lap, sorry, this is the last lap. It's one lap to go, sorry. The indication came a bit too fast here on my screen. And we see some damage, little damage on Glenn van Parijs' car. Could that affect the last lap? Because he's under pressure of Wouter Burgham's, but he's not only under pressure of Wouter, he has Flint Schuring, Ariel Levy, Benjamin Paak, Rick Koen and so on behind him. Nice group. There is Benjamin Paak in the August by NGT car, followed by the number 8, Rick Koen. But number 9, sorry, in the Refs Motorsport Porsche. Number 8 is his teammate Aaron Mason, of course. Flying through the chicane, the Porsche 992. 2 wheels, or less even. We're now half a lap away from the finish of the second race. I think the result, especially if we talk about the winner of the race, I think it won't change. It will remain Larry ten Voorde, followed by Robert De Haan, 3.5 seconds behind him. And then there is an 11-second gap to Glenn van Parijs. That's Larry ten Voorde. Flying again. And there it is, second victory of the weekend. Well done, Larry ten Voorde. Well done, GW Race Service as well. Congratulations. Perfect second place for Robert De Haan because he's taking the winner's points, as I explained. And then we have Glenn van Parijs, Wouter Burgham's, Flint Schuring, Ariel Levy, Benjamin Paak, Rick Koen, Mika Stanley, Sam de Jong. Winner of Pro-Am class, Sascha Norde. Hans Wijs is second now in Pro-Am. Cedric Chassang first in M and 13th overall, and then the rest of the bunch. Good race, despite the safety car situations, of course. We prefer racing, pure racing. But very nice battle for third, for fourth, for fifth, for sixth position, and so on. In the M class, Ralph Popelaar is second, and Roger Grauwels is third. Luc van der Feest is fourth. But we still have to wait a little bit because we will get some investigations after the race. So the result is not closed yet. We might get some information an hour, 2 hours after the race for maybe this driver or another driver getting a 30-second penalty, for instance, and dropping back into the standings. So, but one thing is sure, Larry ten Voorde, he's the winner of this race. No track limits, no nothing. Robert de Haan, I think he will remain in second position, as will Glenn van Parijs remain in third position. Overall, they will be on the podium in a few minutes' time in front of the grandstands, the full crowded grandstands of the Assen circuit. And they're driving back on a lower pace, of course, back to the pit lane and then into the Parc Fermé. If necessary, there will be some technical scrutineering, inspection of the car, if everything is okay, if everything is okay with the car. And we have now, after 8 out of 12 races, we have 3 victories for Robert de Haan, 2 for Glenn van Parijs, 2 for Larry ten Voorde, and 1 for Ariel Levy. So 4 winners in 8 races, 4 different winners from 3 different nationalities: Israel, Belgium, and Holland. Holland is leading with 4 victories. 5, sorry, 5. Larry ten Voorde 2, Robert de Haan 3. Belgium 2 with Glenn van Parijs, and then Israel with Ariel Levy, of course. 1 victory in Zandvoort, the second race of the weekend there. In the point standings, Robert de Haan will again scrap some points more than Glenn van Parijs. But we're coming to Belgium now, we're coming to Zolder. And Glenn van Parijs, where he's living, he's almost living in Zolder, so he might know the track very, very well. He's racing as well in the 24 Hours of Zolder just before the Porsche Carrera Cup meeting in Zolder, so he will have his kilometers there on the racetrack. Let's wait and see for what's happening in Zolder in a couple of weeks' time, second weekend of September. And this is an empty racetrack because every driver is coming into the pit lane, to the Parc Fermé, of course. As I said, we still have 2 race meetings to go on the 9th and 10th of September in Zolder, and then on the 23rd and 24th of September on the Red Bull Ring in Austria. 4 races to go, 4 times half an hour plus 1 lap. We will know the champions. Or in Zolder, maybe. It could be. Or in Austria, that's for sure. People going to the podium ceremonies now. We will start with overall victory, and that's Larry ten Voorde, Robert de Haan, Glenn van Parijs, the overall podium, 1, 2, 3, with 1 guest driver, and then the drivers in first and second position in the championship, Robert de Haan and Glenn van Parijs. Robert de Haan for Richardson Racing, and Glenn van Parijs, August by NGT. Larry ten Voorde, he's the guest driver in the GW race service car, the nice colored yellow car that won the race yesterday, that won the race today. So 2 victories on home soil for Larry ten Voorde. And it was, in fact, a long time ago that he never raced here in the Porsche. He did some racing in single-seater cars, but that's a long, long time ago. And that's it for this weekend's racing in Assen with the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. Congratulations to Larry ten Voorde, double winner of the Assen round of the championship, the 4th round of the championship of 2023. thank you for watching us. Thank you for having us. And see you back in a couple of weeks' time on the 9th and the 10th of September in Zolder in Belgium for race number 9 and race number 10. Thank you and have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.